The Washington Capitals, one of the best teams in the NHL with one of the grossest rosters in the NHL with the best goal scorer in the NHL, Alexander Ovechkin, or an aging veteran team with a lot of big names that have become long in the tooth and are looking like they're in their last hurrah. This is the list of the reasons the Washington Capitals will win the Stanley Cup again this year and the reasons they will not. So let's get after it. This video series on our channel is brought to you by BetUS. We use BetUS's odds and odds makers to help us rank our teams in this video series. Look, if you're going to invest millions of dollars in odds makers, actuaries, and mathematical data science in order to go ahead and rank the NHL, who are we to tell Vegas or any of these folks that they're wrong in $1 billion a year business? And if you want to go ahead and be right or beat the odds makers, sponsor us by going down below and clicking the link if you're over the age of majority, heading over to betus.com to get your 125% playoff bonus to go ahead and beat the odds makers and pick your favorite team to win the Stanley Cup or daily NHL betting. First off, the Washington Capitals rankings in the playoffs. They're a plus 3,000 odds to win the Stanley Cup this year from BetUS. Remember, use code HGS. That puts them at rank number 13th. So they have the 13th most likely chance of winning the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's not super high. And taking a look at the reasons the Capitals can actually win the cup here, number one is team defense. They're actually number 6 in the NHL for shots against. When you take a look at their chart here from HockeyViz, you can see it is ice cold. It is difficult to get shots against the Washington Capitals, and that is always a very good thing heading into the playoffs. Two really key attributes heading into the playoffs are always going to be size and physicality, along with great team defense. And right now, Washington has above average team defense. The second reason the Capitals end up winning the Stanley Cup is Alexander Ovechkin. This team goes as Ovi goes. It's always gone as Ovi goes. If Ovi's going to play two-way hockey and Ovi is going to pick it up and rally the troops, this team can go as far as Ovi wants to get them. Finally, how about the fact that Washington is a big, heavy team? These guys are strong and they're aggressive when it comes to the playoffs anyway. This is one of the bigger teams in the NHL by overall weight. And if you subscribe to the belief that playoff hockey is a war of attrition, then that size and the aggressiveness that the Washington Capitals brings definitely lends a hand to the case that they may win a Stanley Cup. But unfortunately, that's the end of the positives to the Washington Capitals, and I really struggled to pull some of those positives out of their Caps fans. Unfortunately, they're ranked 13 and they're ranked 13th for a reason. The biggest one is scoring. They're number 14 right now in Corsi. Remember, only 16 teams make the playoffs, so they're above 50%, but that's not saying much when you're playing the best of the best. They're number 9 in terms of goals by percentage. So they're not bad. They're kind of mid-pack right now in the playoffs, but that's still not enough to get it done when it comes to winning a Stanley Cup as a whole, but it might be enough to win a round. And lastly, they're number 17 in the NHL for high danger scoring chances. That isn't where you want to be. You want to be a more dangerous scoring team. So we talk about Alexander Ovechkin being the greatest goal scorer in the NHL and maybe of all time. Well, this team is only number 17 in scoring. And when you take a look at the heat maps down here on the left side for offense, which is their shot count, you can see their shot count is okay. They don't get a lot of tips in front of the net. It's ice cold there. It's the low slot. It's the high slot at the top of the circle. And it's the point where they're getting most of their damage done, but it's nothing crazy compared to NHL average. They're a fine team. They're a playoff team. That's exactly what they are, but they're a bubble playoff team. When you take a look at their finishing, you can see the heat map. Where are they scoring? They're scoring from the left side. Why are they scoring from the left side? That's where Alexander Ovechkin loves to do his damage. So when you're taking a look at these maps, you can tell the Great 8 is still carrying this team. You just got to look at the stats and look at the amount of goals he's put up. Alex is still amazing, but his surrounding cast just isn't that strong. Another challenge facing the Capitals is a goaltending competition or just goaltending as a whole. I'm not sure if they're still in a competition. I read that 3 weeks ago that you're looking at Samsonov and Vanecek as like, oh my God, which is our starter? It's Vanecek. It needs to be Vanecek. If it's not Vanecek, then I have no idea. Vanecek is ranked 29th in the NHL in save percentage. That's not ideal with a 910, but he's ranked number 19 in wins above replacement. So his contribution to his team winning, he's the 19th best goalie in the NHL. Samsonov, conversely, is ranked number 74 with an 897 save percentage, and he's ranked number 83 in wins above replacement. This should be Vanecek's net, but if they end up in this flip-flop battle battle where it's one goalie one game, one the other game, or one loses and the other one's in. Just ask Bobrovsky and Chris Driedger how that worked for them last year in Florida. It doesn't work, in my opinion, when you're flip-flopping with goalies. If you don't have a hard starter that's leading the charge, you usually don't end up winning. Washington's special teams are also nothing to write home against. Again, take a look at the power play graph on the left side. Ovi's office on the power play, that's where they score all the goals. If Ovi isn't scoring, the power play isn't scoring. It's that simple. When you take a look at the PK defense, their PK defense, it's not bad. It's number 9, so it's mid-pack at 81.9. It's not going to hurt you, but it's not going to help you either. When you take a look at their power play, though, it's 21st in the NHL with only 19.5%. That's not great, and I'm pretty sure like near 100% of that 19.5% goes through Alexander Ovechkin. Rosters or depth charts, lines aren't fully present or in order. The source, frozenpool.dobbersports.com or dailyfaceoff.com. Both are the same. Number 2, rankings. We use wins above replacement, known as WAR. WAR comprises goals, assists, power play points, PK points, defense, shots, and more. It is an all-encompassing stat. Source is evolvinghockey.com. Player classifications are my choice. Franchise, elite, top line, top 6, middle 6, third line, bottom 6, fourth line, enforcer, depth in that order. Color grading is based on classification and rank. Gold is overperforming, white is performing as expected, and red is underperforming or dust. Finally, we want to take a look at their roster, and when we go ahead and pull it up here, you can see just by the colors, by the names on it, there's a lot of big names here. There's a lot of household names. There's a lot of fan favorites, but at the end of the day, really, Tom Wilson is the only one overperforming in the top 6. Look, Ovechkin's a franchise player. He's only ranked 111 right now. That's because his defense just isn't solid. The team around him isn't helping him, and Ovi's never really been known to back check. Like, let's be honest. So he's ranked number 11. He's still a franchise player because of all the goals he gets. It's the grade 8. Kuznetsov, their top center now, overtaking Backstrom, in my opinion. He's ranked 126. That's not what you want out of your centerman. Backstrom's ranked 232. Like, that's not good down the middle. It's probably one of the weakest teams down the middle. Tom Wilson is totally overperforming. The guy's a truck. He's a beast. He's going to be awesome in the playoffs. He's a scumbag a bit too, but he's he's a scumbag. Conor Sheary, he's in the top 6 as well, but again, 253, and Johansson 414. I mean, that's not great. If you go down into their bottom 6 there, Mantha, Larson, Dowd, and Hathaway, they got nice depth. They do. They have nice depth on line 3 and 4. They're overperforming for where these guys are at. Oshie's performing fine. Eller's performing fine, but the roster, it's nothing to write home about. When you take a look at their defense, John Carlson, he's still an elite defenseman, but he comes in ranked number 57, so he's not overperforming. He's not underperforming. He's John Carlson. He's doing his job. Steady Eddie. Fehervary, I mean, his partner, that's another problem. I mean, Red, he just doesn't contribute. Carlson carries the line. It's very clear he's ranked 273. If you think about it, there is 62 defensemen in the top of the NHL. Those are your number 1, number 2 guys. Then you go ahead and times that by 3. That's how many NHL players are going to be on an NHL team when you're looking at a top 6. And when you have a top pair guy ranked 273, way outside of that, that means guys ranked 7 and 8 are beating him. That's not where you want to be. Orlov, Jensen, and Van Riemsdyk all overperforming for their position. So your top 4 for defense for Washington's actually pretty good, minus 1 guy. And Justin Schultz, again, ranked 311, Stanley Cup winner from Pittsburgh, Stanley Cup winner from Washington, but Vanecek is the goalie that should be started. Samsonov, hey, anyways, Caps fans, you tell me down below who's going to start and who you want to start off of this roster. Taking a look at the final list, they're going to win with team defense. Go figure. Washington really turned it around. Used to be scoring machines. Now they're a defensive machine. Alexander Ovechkin, if he picks it up and he goes forward, the team is going to follow. He is definitely the leader, and they're going to win through heavy playoff style hockey. Why they're going to lose? Scoring. Look, we just talked about it. Their scoring isn't great. Their goaltending, huge question marks in net. I don't love it, and you need less than that. But don't forget Washington. Braden Holtby was the number 25 ranked goalie in the NHL when you won the cup at that point in time, so it's possible. Special teams, again, nothing to write home about. Their power play, not good enough, and their roster, it's aging. All right, Caps fans, good luck against the Florida Panthers. You let me know down below if I've got it right, and you let me know, do you think Washington has a chance to knock off the Big Cats? Meow!